gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present this podcast to you in all its glory. They are the bearded wonders, the twin sons from different mothers. He is Blake. He is Sal. And together they are the Blake and Sal Show. And if you're not okay with that, I have two words for you. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to the Blake and Sal Show with Mark, episode number 426, streaming live on Facebook. Let me bring on my co-hosts. First of all, the biggest heel in podcasting, the man who is having massive issues with this Ezekiel Elias storyline. Sal, how you doing?
Doing alive.
So, how you doing, Sal?
We're doing it live.
We are doing it live. We are currently live. I actually figured out how to stream it on the Blake and Sal Show Facebook page, instead of mine this time. So yay for that. So, all right. Anyway, let's bring on our other co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the man who was green before we came on the air. Mark Dead, how you doing?
Hello, everybody. Hey, can you answer me one question?
What?
I'm looking for Elrod. Where's Elrod?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out why Sal has issues believing that Ezekiel and Elias are not the same person. I'm still in trouble with that. Sal, comment?
They are the same person.
They're not the same person. Like, I'm
No,
telling you,
They are
they were proven
same
on Raw. It was proven on Raw.
the finger,
around me's on fire.
the fingerprints are different.
I'll show you fingerprints right
All right.
across your face.
Oh, yeah. Our Zoom window, by the way, is about to get really full because a couple people just came into the waiting room. So let me actually just say, we're opening it up. Sal, stop doing that. You're driving me crazy. Stop doing that.
That's what you get.
People on the audio side, I think they're wondering why I'm yelling at you. But anyway, we're opening it up with what turned out to be the biggest song in the last 3 weeks. And I don't even watch Stranger Things, but I figured, we have to open up with Kate Bush's running up that hill. A deal with God, because why not at this point?
Running up the hill away from this.
So, all right. So we have a couple people. I have people in the Zoom window, but the video aren't on yet, so I haven't been able to introduce anybody yet. So let's see what's going on here. First of all, there we go. I'll go in order of people that are opening up their windows. First of all, let's bring on my beautiful wife, an author, who is actually doing a panel at Fan Expo, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Let's bring her on.
I'm on my own, against the wall. The pressure's building, but no, I will never fall. Instead of crying, they hear me roar. And now I see that I'm way better than before. I never needed you at all. I'm living large now. I never needed you at all. Think I'll fall down? I'ma watch you fall down. I'm living large now. I never needed you at all.
Bring on Mandy. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hey, I didn't know you were going to be here. I wasn't sure. So there you go.
I won't be here long, but
That's fine. Just wanted to come in and say hi.
yep, doing my nails.
Hey, cool. Well, let's bring
I
on.
mean, working hard.
Honey, it's
Okay.
late in the afternoon. You're fine. You're fine. Let's bring on our other special guest who jumped in. Yeah, I know he's got a short leash today himself. At least this time he doesn't have a cold, unlike the last time he was here. from the PW Torch, Kelly Wells. Kelly, welcome to the show.
Thank you as always, Blake. I love your optimism that this cough would be gone after just 2 months.
Damn it.
It's not.
I was
It's
hoping.
not. I still have it. Like I this is my 4th podcast in the last 3 days, and on every single one, I've had to pause multiple times for coughing fits. So this is just my life now.
Well, yeah. By the way, I might be the closest we're going to get to Okada's theme this week, unfortunately. I was really, really hoping, and then he's going to stay. More than likely, for those listening on the podcast out on Friday, me, Mark, and Mandy are all going to Dynamite tonight on Wednesday. We're all going. And I really was hoping that Okada would be there tonight. Obviously, he's not. More 99% sure he's not going to be there. So that might be the closest I'm going to get to that theme music this week. So, but we'll get more into Forbidden Door in a little while. Sal, let's get started so we can get into everything. Help support the show and find all the projects we work and all the platforms. I can't talk today. Help support the show and find all the platforms you can find the show on at TheBlakeSocial.com. Sal.
You can buy our shirts, stickers, hoodies, crock pots, and more from our TeePublic store. Click on the TeePublic link on our website, or go to TeePublic and search The Blake and Sal Show.
Hey, do we have the Blake and Sal show with Mark Pool Noodles?
Okay. We had
Like-
2 jokes go on at the same time, and I have no clue what anybody said.
Okay.
I said, don't threaten me with a good time. I would totally wear a crop top.
True. And Dad?
Hey, do we have the Blake and Sal show with Mark Pool Noodles in yet?
Night items actually available. And I can't even say put a sticker on it because it would fly out right at the pool. So that's not even worth it. All right. Podcast I was good.
Honey, you're not allowed to put stickers on anything right now. Kaboom.
Hey, kaboom. Okay, we're right back. All right. No, we have a bunch of stuff we have to plug.
Yes, I held that face the entire commercial break.
We have a bunch of stuff.
A whole 90 seconds?
Okay. I want to get you plugged. We have a lot to do that.
Go ahead.
First of all, as always, I Know I Am available right now on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. Mandy's book, as I always say every week. I'm super proud, and I will plug it every single week until the end of time. Plus Minute Reboot going on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Today, over on the show, you have Kurt Hoffman, our buddy Kurt Hoffman, on the show. So go listen to that on Friday. Now, right before we came on, literally like an hour before we came on, the schedule for Fan Expo Chicago came out. Like literally came out right before we could come on. So I was going to plug things anyway, but now it's official. I can't make it official. So, first of all, Mandy is making her debut at Fan Expo. And she's going to be doing a I Know I Am panel with her illustrator. How do you say her last name, honey?
I think it's Kleinhans.
So Amy Kleinhans and her friend Becky Sterling, and Dad will be doing the moderating on that panel. And also official, Mandy will be doing a book reading at the Family Zone, part of the cosplay book reading thing they're doing. So that's a big deal. So that's exciting. That's going to be at 1:00. And then right after that, as soon as I figure out why this is being slow, we have the Blake and Sal show live. It is the midterm pro wrestling report with me, Dad, and Mandy. Will be doing that at the podcast stage. I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really, I love doing live shows, and this is going to be a great day for us.
Question.
Go ahead.
Is it 3 or 2?
It's 2:00. I had to update the sheet. It's 2:00. 2:00. It's happening at 2. I'm excited. So that's that.
The only thing I'm going to say is during the I Know I Am panel, we will be revealing some really cool news.
Yes, there'll be breaking news. Yes, I know about that. It's really cool news. I'm not going to say it here, but it's breaking news.
So I would implore you to listen in, por favor.
Yeah.
There's a hint.
Perfect. All right. As for one last plug, Kelly, get your plugs in. Go ahead.
I'm Kelly Wells, eating pizza because I have no extra time in this day. I gotta crush it now. You can follow me on social media at Spooky Milk or at spookymilk.games. I do the NXT reports, and I'm the NXT podcast host at Pro Wrestling Torch. But I've been picking up lots of nights co-hosting on Raw and SmackDown with Wade Keller. Went to SmackDown 2 weeks ago with Wade Keller, and just finished my NXT 8 Years Back podcast as well. And here I'm talking Forbidden Door. I'm covering all the bases, folks.
That you are. That indeed you are. If make you feel any better, Kelly, right before we came on, I finished my lunch. So if it makes you feel any better, it's been a busy day for me too. So, all right. Well, this will give everybody about a 1 minute to eat some food and breathe. So let's do this.
It's so very confident it's your boy Ric Flair to come on here and say a thing or two. You're on the surface. Under the sea. Under the sea. And that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so. Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Stop. Listen. Because.
I am Lance Catamaran.
All right. Let's get into things before we get into the big news that's been going on for weeks. I do like to get, if we have some people pass away, we start the news block with that. And we had two former WWE referees pass away within literally 48 hours of each other. It was a really crazy week. A former referee, Dave Hebner, age 73, and former referee and producer, Tim White, at 68. Sal, any thoughts?
It kind of stinks that they happen so close to each other. But yeah, I mean, true legends right there, both of them.
Yeah, it was funny. I looked up, I'm like, Tim White, man, when did he retire? 2004, his last match he refereed was at WrestleMania 20. And I remember the weird stuff with the Justin Roberts that was like doing random interviews with him where he was like fake committing suicide, like in bits, like for some reason.
Yeah.
A year, I didn't understand that year. That was weird.
Yeah, that was Justin Roberts. Yeah.
That was a weird year. Honey, any thoughts?
RIP, gentlemen.
Okay.
You're down for the count.
I see what you did there. Kelly?
I mean, the Hebner story is weird. Like the way that they got fired from the company because they were illegally selling merchandise out of their own homes. That's why Dave and Earl ended up gone. Very weird story with them, but obviously they were very competent refs. When I think of the Hebners, obviously I think of Earl. He was around a lot longer, but yeah, I guess it doesn't take any more effort to think of Dave because they had the same face. Tim White is really, really beloved in wrestling. I've read a lot of wrestling books over the years, and he's like their Adam Sandler, where everybody who's worked with him is like, yeah, he's pretty much the nicest guy in the business. Everybody, there were a lot of tributes to him. I know Hebner goes back further, but I thought it was telling that there wasn't a tweet storm after he died. People acknowledged it, but after Tim White died, everybody was talking about it. This guy was massively beloved, and yeah, has been without his best friend for a very long time, Andre the Giant. So not sure what I think about the afterlife, but I'm sure it gives a lot of people peace to think they're in the same place.
By the way, to your point, Kelly, Tim White did get the graphic at the beginning of Raw and NXT this week too. So like, that's something there. That's a big deal. Dad, go ahead.
Both gone way too young. They had a lot more to give to the business and to up and coming talent. Tim White, the one that gets me is I watched the movie that's on ESPN and HBO about Andre and the story that Tim White tells, that how he was the only one that had a good rapport with Andre, and Andre would call him boss. And there was a story he told, and he teared up and very emotional because they did have a true friendship in and outside the ring. So Tim is now with his best buddy.
Yeah. It's well, that I do want to make sure we opened up with that because I know those are appropriate. While I was doing that, I actually had to find a sound drop that I could not find. That I had to find it real fast. So I haven't done this in a long time because we never have this much shit happen during a break we take. We literally took 2 weeks off, and then like the world blew up apparently in the wrestling world. So a lot happened. So
what did I miss?
Sal, why don't you start it off? Go.
The weirdest story, I think, Vince McMahon stepped away from his role as CEO and chairman of WWE after hush money allegations. And Stephanie McMahon was named the interim CEO chairwoman.
Yeah, and on top of that, John Laurinaitis was also involved in this story, and he got pretty much what was he? Not dismissed, but what was it? He was given leave. So now Bruce Pritchard is now in his role as interim. What was that? What's the
Head of talent relations.
He's head of talent.
Talent relations. Thank you. Head of talent relations. So yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. Well, John is on leave, getting paid on the basis of the results from the investigation that WWE is doing.
And then, of course, we know Vince McMahon doesn't like to stay out of the spotlight, and he's been losing his mind and showing up on TV for no reason for the last couple of shows. We don't know why he's doing this. Kelly, you were in attendance on last Friday at SmackDown, and you saw Vince. Your thoughts on all this chaos and Vince's appearance on Friday and everything else?
It's funny how non-newsworthy it ended up being. It's news that he showed up, and it's news that he decided that he had to be on the show at a really, really stupid time for him to be making an appearance. But then in the end, when he said, "Welcome to SmackDown," and there was literally no content, and he just walked to the back. I mean, everybody was reporting he was going to speak in character, and he really didn't. He just came out and said, "Hey, remember me? I'm this guy. You like my music. This is SmackDown. I'm leaving." And then Raw was even weirder because that one was unannounced. And then they came up with an excuse for him to be there, which was John Cena is going to be back next week, which people already knew.
Been hyping for weeks.
So it just on my podcasts with Wade and live, we talked about this extensively afterwards with Jason Powell also. We I was in lockstep with Wade. We both thought that this was a goodbye just in case he doesn't get to do this again. That he came down the aisle and he's been in trouble before and he's gotten out of it. But this is going to be a lot tougher to get out of the way that things are now. I don't think it's a given that he escapes trouble here. And I think that he was saying some goodbyes.
Honey, I hear you pointing at yourself, so I'll throw it to you next. Your thoughts?
I thought the same thing. I thought, and I believe I will give credit to Bully Ray, which pains me to say.
That hurts. That one hurts.
It hurts. It hurts for me to say that. But he said it could be taken one of two ways. It could be taken as that goodbye, or it could be taken as a "fuck you, I'm Vince McMahon, I'm going to do what I want." So,
yeah,
and honestly, knowing McMahon, it could be a combination of both. So, but I agree, it's going to be difficult for him to get out of it. However, I see Laurinaitis being the scapegoat first and foremost, and him going before anything happens to Vince. And awfully quiet are Mama Bella and the Bella twins and all this.
Apparently, I found out that there was a news rumor going around that apparently Mama Bella was actually in getting like treatment for cancer or something when this was all going on.
Wow.
Yeah, she was sick.
Yeah, so that's what I've been hearing.
Yeah,
I heard that this
she
morning.
was sick. I remember Bree and Nikki posting about that.
Yeah, that's what or that timeline was when this was all going on.
Yeah.
So wow.
You can
Yeah, Dad, yo.
Here's the thing with Vince, and basically you can call him the Teflon Don if you want, the things in the past where basically he's able to get out of things. This particular situation is not going to be that easy, especially when there's documentation and a paper trail that you can't get rid of. And, here's the thing with Laurinaitis. If it comes down with a heavy hand between him and Vince, I don't think Laurinaitis is going to go away quietly. I think he's going to basically spill the beans about everything. And my thing is, what is this going to do to the stock of WWE? Since it's publicly owned.
What's interesting, I do want to actually I will say this on the air, and I said this to Sal off the air. I do want to apologize to Sal because Sal messaged me about this when everything broke. And then I read the article, and I'm like, and I was looking fired, and nothing will come of it. And then the next morning, John Parker, who was supposed to be here today, but he had a work conflict, messages me with the news about stepping away, and I'm like, oh shit, oh shit. Okay, this has got weird and real. So Sal, your thoughts?
It's crazy. I mean, just the news that has been coming out. More is going to come out. This always happens when something like this breaks. It just snowballs, and something else is going to be coming out of the woodworks real soon. Someone's going to say something, and it's going to be probably even worse than we all imagine.
That's true.
My whole thing about this is, remember the vignettes when he and Trish Stratus were doing their thing?
Yeah, I remember that.
And of course, genetic jackhammer and the grapefruits.
Yep.
Well, it's kind of, what's the word I'm looking for?
I'm not sure.
Kind of bittersweet.
Apropos.
Kind of bittersweet that you're the.
Apropos is a better word.
Okay, apropos is probably better. That the stuff that you've done in the past that was scripted now it's real, and you can't make this go away, and it's now not only ruining your business life but your private life. So is this all worth it?
Well,
but let's be serious. This isn't the first time. This is just the first time that he's been caught.
Exactly.
So,
there you go.
Serious.
Exactly.
And we're in the kind of world where this shit happens. It happens. I'm like it feels like every billionaire has it happen at least once. Like every single one of them. So
I think what's blowing my mind about it is this is a 76-year-old man. How do you even? It's a little undignified to need to do this at this age. Like, I know that shouldn't necessarily matter, but like the need to run around and live this fast life at 76 is just.
I give you Ric Flair.
Oh God!
Well, here's the thing.
I give you Ric Flair back because I don't.
Yeah, nobody wants Ric Flair.
Throw it.
Vince can no longer make cuts on Ric Flair because he's doing the exact same thing and then some.
You know what? He probably isn't giving him shit. He's probably applauding him.
But we also need to remember that we may not understand it because we will never live that life. Like most people, like as they get older, they want things to settle down. For Vince, he lives on adrenaline, and maybe this is some of the only time he can get it. He wasn't getting it from Linda, so
good way of putting it. It's a good way of putting it. All right, real quick.
Put that face out.
A couple of big injuries that happened in the last couple of weeks. Cody Rhodes obviously tore his pec at Hell in a Cell. We didn't get to talk about it on the show because we took the week off.
Wait, what? He hurt himself?
I know. We did. Nobody knew.
That was makeup. That was
makeup. So now do we have Riddle going, hey, Cody?
I'm literally trying to get this done real fast. Cody wrestled her pec. Everybody knew that. He had surgery. And I'm saying Royal Rumble, he's getting back for that. Randy Orton was the one we didn't see coming. Apparently, he's having back surgery. That's what I've been hearing. He's going to have back surgery, and he's not going to be out for the rest of the year. Boy, does that throw a wrench into the main event scene? That was supposed to be the main event at SummerSlam. So that's that. And, of course, the news coming from Rod Geary, and I'm giving him the credit because he got so much shit for this news on Twitter, and then it became true. So Sasha Banks is released from WWE. So those three stories, Sal, your thoughts?
Are we not going to get official confirmation about the whole Sasha Banks thing, or
I don't know. I'm giving Rod credit because he got so much shit on Twitter from the Sasha Banks fans. So I'm giving him all the credit in the world for the story. Honey, I see your hand raised. Go.
Yeah. You're forgetting a major injury? I would assume.
I have Punk written down for the Forbidden Door. I have him down for Forbidden Door.
I'm talking about Rhea Ripley.
Oh, I forgot about Rhea Ripley because she got pulled from Money in the Bank. Yeah, good call.
And I just wanted to throw it out there that this just also again proves how good of a worker Carmella is, because yet again they were in a pinch, and yet again she came and she filled, whatever, take it as it is, she filled the hole that needed to be filled. And she gets shit on a lot, but she's always there when you need her.
I also forgot to write down because it's been a busy day. I didn't really chance to update the Renchi. For the Jeff Hardy news, he obviously did with his DUI, and the Hardy Boys are not a thing right now because of that. I more laughed at the fact that Johnny Nitro that we make fun of all the time with Johnny Hardy in Mexico for a day. That made me laugh. Not gonna lie, that would crack me up. And then Matt Hardy got injured in that match.
Yes, he did.
Can't.
So there go both the Hardys.
Yay. So all that, Kelly, any thoughts on everything that everybody just brought up?
It really does drive home how much has happened recently. I mean, the McMahon thing's so big, it's easy to forget everything else. With Sasha, not surprised that Raj got shit there. I'm just putting it bluntly, but Sasha's biggest fans are the most deluded people on Twitter. Every time something comes out about her, it's just they're relentlessly like, and if this doesn't work out, she's got Hollywood. She cannot act. She's given poor.
I enjoyed her in Star Wars, but again, it's Star Wars. You don't have to be a great actor to be in Star Wars. You know,
No, it's practically a stumbling block to getting cast in Star Wars. Yeah, it's she's everything she says sounds kind of like a Wooden Valley girl. Like she has no.
Yes.
She's not going to be a Hollywood star. She's
if
a
everyone
good.
thinks she's going to be an actress, they need to listen to her promos.
Yeah, she's a good wrestling heel who connects best when she's not speaking, and she's a wonderful wrestler. But she's just on the mic, she's death, and so she's never. I've never connected with her on the level that I think a lot of people do. Rhea's a bummer. It is good that they had a backup plan. I'm no fan of Carmella, but it is true that she's been put in this spot where they needed somebody in a pinch, and she's essentially become Natalia. I mean, she's very, very useful.
I think a compliment, though. They're really a compliment.
Yeah. Yep. And you need somebody to fill that spot for a month. You know they're not going to win, but you know it's going to. And Carmella can't work like Natalia, but she generates heat better than Natalia, and or as well. So I think that's pretty cool. Did I miss? God, there's so much. I'm sure.
Isn't there a lot? Isn't there so much happened? Like, I mean, you're mentioning Jeff Hardy too. I'm talking about Jeff Hardy.
I mean, Jeff Hardy. It's what do you say besides they should have known when they hired him? There's nothing else to say.
Very, very true. I would. So now listening to the Jeff Hardy interview that was on Jericho's show, the Hardy Boy interview that I did listen to because Mandy said you should listen because they're talking about a lot of stuff. So I'm like, oh, I have time when I'm working to listen to stuff, so I listen to it. I'm like, now listening to that interview and having to make excuses and excuses and excuses and excuses for Jeff is such inappropriate.
So my thing is with AEW and Jeff Hardy. Is Tony going to send him to some sort of rehab?
Yes. He is suspended without pay and told he cannot come back until he goes to rehab.
Okay. I mean,
that is exactly the rule. It can't take from Tony Khan himself.
Yeah, good. And the thing with Sasha, the first time WWE kissed her ass and they bent over to her and gave her everything she wanted up the ass and wazoo. This time, I think WWE says, we're going to cut our losses. We don't need this. And it'll be a black eye for us. And we want to get rid of this. And her going to another wrestling organization, no one's going to pick her up.
No. Let's not bullshit ourselves here. Tony Khan will pay her. You know he will. Everybody, no. You know he will. He wants her name value. She is Bernardo name value, and he wants her fan base. He wants her fan base.
But here's the thing. And let's also be serious. Like Kelly was saying, she's horrible on the microphone. But guess what? They have people that can be a manager for her, so she doesn't have to be on the microphone, and she can focus on being the wrestler she is. I honestly see her trying to combat Jade.
I don't see her going to AEW. I see her going to Impact before AEW.
Impact doesn't need her. I'm not gonna lie. Impact does not need her.
I have my doubts that she wouldn't. I think she would think of herself as too big for Impact. That's really what I get out of her personality and her approach to all this. I'm amazed that she was willing to burn the bridges at this level to this company. And there's only two major places to make money in wrestling in the States. And I feel like the door is closed to her now. We've seen crazier things. We saw Warrior come back after a bigger flap, but this one is a lot more public than Warrior's backstage issues ever were. I think it's hard for her to get back. And why would they, unless she really continues to be a major star somewhere, I just don't think they'll take her back. And AEW, I think, absolutely will hire her. Tony, like we just said, he hired Jeff Hardy. He'll hire somebody with baggage if he thinks that there are short-term gains to be made. And that I think is literally his biggest flaw. I think they'll go for the star power there because they've got better talent, but they don't have a ton of star power still. They've got some, but she would walk in and be their biggest women's star tomorrow.
It's true. He's not wrong. You're not wrong, Kelly. You're not wrong.
And I think that he will take that on regardless. But what happens when all the people who burn bridges with WWE realize that they're going to a place with an even bigger roster problem, and it's easier to slip through the cracks and not be even on TV for months at a time. And that day of reckoning is coming. We've already seen Cody go back, and we're going to see more.
What's funny, Kelly, you're saying if we're going to see, obviously, on Dynamite tonight, and I know on Dark Elevation, we're going to be seeing most of the women's wrestlers because they don't show up on Dynamite. They just don't. They'll be seeing them on Dark. And it's sad to say that now, but like the first hour of our show tonight is going to be almost all women's matches. I guarantee it.
So the other question is, how much of the women's roster would be on ROH?
ROH, I don't know. I don't even know. I'm not going to lie. The ROH is being defended on fucking Dark right now. ROH title is being on Dark. Like, but back to my point about the Impact women's division. First of all, Kelly's right. She thinks she was too big for it, but also they don't need her. She's got a run. They've got a hell of a women's division over on Impact that's underappreciated. And I noticed that when I was looking at the highlights of Slammiversary this past week. I saw the monster. They did the Queen of the Mountain match. I'm like, wow, they got a talented fucking roster over on Impact. They got a really talented women's roster. So I almost think Mia Yim made the right decision not coming to AEW, going to Impact. I think that was a good decision for her because she's actually she's on TV every week. She's on TV every single week. So
Do you see Sasha going to Mexico?
No, I don't. I think AEW or bust at this point with her.
Okay.
Bust. And Kelly, back to what you were saying about being a movie star. I don't think she has to be a movie star. I think people are not realizing, and I said this on the show back when this all started, she could show up to a fucking Star Wars convention and make bank just because she was on Mandalorian.
Yeah. Every single Star Wars actor is
exactly
to some degree set for life.
Exactly.
Because
she doesn't have to do a damn thing.
the fan base will want to see you.
Exactly. That's what I made that point a few weeks back when this all started. So, all right. Speaking with move on. Let's get to Forbidden Door. AEW New Japan Forbidden Door. I can't believe we're actually at the point where we're talking about the show, but at the same time, I almost feel underwhelmed. Like, I'm excited. I'll watch the show. I'm ordering the show and going to Dynamite tonight. It's very underwhelming.
I'm more interested to see who appears.
Yeah,
from New Japan.
So before we get to the preview, obviously, as I've been saying, we're going Dynamite tonight and Rampage taping tonight. Me and Dad will be sitting down and we're going to do a review of Dynamite and Rampage. If any other matches obviously get announced during Dynamite and Rampage, we will discuss it on that show, which will go up on Saturday morning. So any matches that are going to announce, and we're hearing this on Friday, tune in tomorrow, and we'll talk about those matches. Just want to throw that out there right now. All right, let's get to the card that we have in front of us. Before we do that, though, Kelly, what are your thoughts on Forbidden Door? Are you as underwhelmed as I am?
Yes. I mean, I'm as whelmed as I thought I would be. These big dream match company versus company shows they can only happen that way because the overlap is never as big as both companies think that it probably is. It just isn't. So there are going to be a lot of people going in that are way more knowledgeable about one or the other. I'm up-ish on AEW. I watch it some. I never ever miss New Japan, so I'm very, very aware of everything that's going on there. But you don't have time. I mean, Tony has a little more time than Vince would to promote this because he only does quarterly pay-per-views. But I thought this almost should have taken the place of one of the quarterlies rather than be a month after one, because there isn't enough time to introduce these guys and make people care about them by the time the show comes on. I'm sure that people want to see good matches, but my biggest gripe that I keep hearing from people at the Torch is that they just don't know who these guys are. And it doesn't matter how good they are if they don't know who they are.
They could have done like All Out Forbidden Door, and then the exact same show, even do it at the United Center, but do it in August. I mean, on Labor Day weekend, and that's fine instead. And you don't even have to change All Out. You don't have to change the continuity of the show, and you still do this show as a special event show during All Out. But again, they didn't want to do that because they have other plans.
My other question is this: with people watching this and seeing the stars from New Japan, would there be able to generate a new fan base based on people watching these New Japan stars and getting more acquainted with the product?
Actually, you know what? Let me ask Sal. Sal, you're not a New Japan person. You're coming in as an AEW person. AEW mark, dare I say, because you got me nuts with that sometimes. But anyway.
Yes.
Your thoughts now, because you don't know a lot of these people. You're asking me questions as we're going along with the show. It's like you're texting me wondering who some people are or what the hell's going on. What are your thoughts going into this?
I feel like there wasn't enough time to build. I agree with Kelly. It shouldn't have taken place a month after a pay-per-view. It should have replaced a pay-per-view or something. Yeah, I feel like it was kind of rushed. I feel like the last 2-3 weeks it was like, oh, here's this person, here's this person, here's this person, and then bam boom, we have a pay-per-view, which you know my feelings on that because WWE does it all the time and I can't stand it. My last thing is I forgot where I read this online. I forgot who said it. I forgot where I read it, but it almost feels like this really isn't a Forbidden Door situation because they work with different companies all the time. And I don't know, like I feel like it was like the whole Forbidden Door thing concept was a little overhyped, and I don't really feel that way because they would have worked with them anyway. That's just my feeling.
I almost feel like Impact did it better on Sunday without trying, because I remember watching the highlights and I'm looking at the Impact show and they pulled off doing a pay-per-view that had involvement from WWE, AEW, MLW, ROH, like all these other AAA, like all these companies on one night. And then they made a big deal out of it. It just kind of happened. It happened.
Well, I mean, look what Impact did with AJ Styles.
Yeah, I mean, that's my point. I'm like, they pulled off something that is almost bigger than this because they did every company. They got everybody.
I mean,
on that show. Like, it's crazy.
People have to realize that within the wrestling organizations, you know, one person's contract runs out and they're able to go to another organization.
Yeah,
it's not that their contract runs out and they say, okay, goodbye, this is retirement.
We know that. Everyone knows that. That's common knowledge. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But let's get into the show. And okay. Close to the bottom of the chart here. We have the weirdest 6-man tag I've ever seen, but it's very New Japanish to have a weirdly strange 6-man tag. It is Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki with Tay Conti in their corner versus Eddie Kingston, Warrior Yuta, and Shota Umino. Am I saying that right, Kelly?
Umino,
thank you. I know the guy. I just didn't pronounce it right. Obviously, Shota Umino is formerly John Moxley's ring boy. His young boy from when he was in the G1. Which I'm not gonna lie. When the New Japan had that show, what was it, in DC? I popped heavy when he came out to face Jay White. Like, I popped. And Mandy wanted to know why I was popping so hard. I'm like, because that was Moxley's guy. Like, Moxley's guy. I was so excited about that. But it's so random to have him involved in this match. Like, it makes no sense to me why he's here. Kelly, your thoughts?
I think the reason he's really there, whether they promote this in storyline or not, is that I'm very, very convinced that he is their next long-term heavyweight champion hopeful. I think they genuinely want him at the top of the card. He was awesome as a young lion. I mean, their young lion system is so good that none of them come off poorly. But I've been watching 5 years, so I've probably seen about 15 or 20 different young lions. And I think Shota might be the best. Shota, Ren, he was from the same class. It was an awesome class. And now Clark Connors, I really just love them all. But I I think that's why he's really there. And he's gotten in. He always had an in because New Japan has a hierarchy for their referees too. They have 3 referees. They are always in the same 1, 2, 3 order, doing a couple matches each in every show. And their main referee goes by the nickname Red Shoes because he wears red shoes.
Red shoes.
Don't think it over. Don't overthink it. Shota is his kid. Umino is his kid. So, and Red Shoes wept openly after the first time he got to referee one of his kids' matches.
Yeah.
So I think that this will be the right kind of messy fun. I hope that it doesn't overstay its welcome. It probably will, because Jericho matches almost always do these days. But I think that people are going to want to see the interplay between him and Minoru Suzuki. I wouldn't write off this being a way for them to get a feud going between Jericho and Suzuki, because they seem like a natural pair to have a feud that I don't think they've ever had, as much as Jericho has worked in New Japan in the past. And he's revered, but over in New Japan, he's pretty low on the card now because he's old. He's 52, he's maybe 53. And he's not getting a push these days anymore in New Japan. He is kind of not a total step over guy, but he does his shtick and usually ends up counting the lights. But in the States right now, he's doing more of a star turn and still putting a lot of guys over, but is treated more as an international star, which might be more fun to do in his waning years.
Yes, I think I would want to do that more. I did that more, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
So-
the man is over by his theme music. It's insane. Like, it's amazing. So it's just, I'm going with, if it's not a turn where you have Suzuki and Jericho getting set up, but even if they do it after the match, I have a weird feeling that Umino might actually be the guy that gets pinned in this match. At the end of the day, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me either. I don't, he's young and he can absorb the loss and it's not a big deal. Everybody seems sure that Suzuki and Jericho, because of this meeting of like big names in their own countries, will go over. But I actually think it would be much more interesting if the baby faces go over and these guys just explode.
Fair enough. Sal?
Yeah, I was thinking probably Jericho, Sammy, and Minoru Suzuki winning this match.
I'm torn, but I'm going to go with my original thought process. But again, I wouldn't be shocked, like what Kelly said, we went the other way around. But I'm with Sal on this one. Dad, what do you think?
I'm going with Eddie Kingston's guys on winning this. And the reason why is Eddie Kingston's got this loose cannon character. And, you know, anything and everything will happen with Eddie Kingston. And he's still keeping that storyline between him and Jericho going. And this is not going to end.
Well, we do have Blood and Guts next week. Keep that in mind. We have Blood and Guts next Wednesday.
Yeah, Eddie Kingston's guys are going to take the win for this.
Yeah, keep that in mind, everybody, that the Blood and Guts is next Wednesday. So whatever happens here will definitely lead up to whatever goes on there. So as much as the first Blood and Guts match went so well, I'm so excited for the second one. All right, let's move on to the most ridiculous title match on this entire show, because I don't even know why this title exists. AEW All Atlantic Championship. That's not really Atlantic. We have Pac, we have Miro, we have Tomoe Ishii, who got qualified in a little mini tournament they did. And then we have the winner of Malachi Black and Penta Oscuro, also known as Malachi Black, because Penta Oscuro is not going to be on the show. So, spoiler alert, that's how it's going to be. Sal, what do you think? Why does this title exist and who's winning it?
Pangea? I don't know.
Pangea? Where the hell did you get Pangea from? Were you doing your crosswords again?
I wanted to say Malachi Black was going to win originally, but I don't know. Something is like making me point towards Miro and God's favorite champion. So I'm going to say Miro.
funny part is I would lean toward Miro too. It's actually where I was leaning because I think it'd be perfect for him to have a belt again. If anyone's going to make this belt actually mean something, it would actually be Miro because he'll make it work. You know he will. There'll be some ridiculous promos in the back talking about nothing, cursing at God, and saying, "Look, I want a belt anyway. I want a belt." 1-1.
Curse you. Yeah. Okay.
Pretty much. No, we're not talking about Hookhausen here. We're talking about Miro. Kelly, your thoughts?
First of all, the reason this belt exists is because AEW is run by the kind of fans who, whenever there's a Twitter thread and somebody's asked, like, how can you solve the problem that WWE has right now? 90% of guys are like, well, you just got to hire all these guys, these wrestlers, or you need to make a new belt. Like the idea of just writing better stuff for the guys they have or booking the belts better that they have never occurs to them. They're just like, add more stuff. That's the answer. That's why this belt exists. It's garbage. It's unneeded. That said, I'm still betting on Malachi Black here. He's, I wouldn't say a reclamation project at this point, but he's one of the guys who really suffered by, you know, he was new and now he's like the 50th newest guy there. So a guy who should have been pushed and we had high hopes for is being just crushed under the weight of Tony just having to have every guy he's ever liked in a match. But I am predicting Black to win this.
I remember, when did Malachi Black debut? Because I remember seeing him at the last show we were at 10 months ago. So it had to be just about a year ago when he debuted, right? Like because I remember, because I'm still having PTSD issues with his theme music because I heard it for 10 minutes straight at our fucking Rampage taping. So like I'm still hating that song to this day, but that was 10 months ago, which is crazy. So that's weird. Dad, your thoughts on this match? Go.
It should be a good match, for what it's worth, and you know, the new storyline with Miro, you know, forsaking my God, you didn't do anything to me, blah blah blah. So I'm gonna do this despite you. Yeah, it's all well and good. I think he and Malachi Black will basically be good against one another, see who comes out on top. I see Pac going against Ishii, but I don't see Pac winning.
True. Well, it's a 4-way. It's not elimination. It's just a 4-way.
So here's the thing. My money is going on Tomohiro Ishii.
Oh, really? That's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice. By the
Stone Pitbull, buddy. Stone Pitbull.
Just to clarify, August 4th is when Malachi Black debuted, not even a year ago. So that says a lot about the sightings in AEW that that's a thing. So they did it at their homecoming special on August 4th. I just looked it up on Wikipedia. So, all right, let's move on. So I'm just going to throw this out there. Back in the New Japan Ring of Honor G1 special, back on WrestleMania weekend, 2019. I want to say that was one of my favorite shows probably in the last like 5 years. I love that show. They did an IWGP ROH winner take all tag team match, tag team title match. And here we are in 2022, where Ring of Honor is not even relevant. It's not even relevant right now. What we're doing in IWGP Ring of Honor winner take all tag team title match. I don't know why, but that's what we're doing. United Empire is the IWGP champion. That's Great Khan and Jeff Cobb, with FTR representing Ring of Honor, and then we have Republic Vice, Trent Beretta, and Rocky Romero. Kelly, why?
I'm not against this. I'm not against putting a couple of championships together for the point of this particular show. That doesn't bug me. It does seem like a match that certain guys both can't win and can't lose, though. It feels like, here's the thing, Cobb and O'Khan are way over. They are very popular. Their whole faction is pretty popular, and they're the two most popular guys in their faction, which is saying a lot because their faction has Will Ospreay in it. But they are genuinely both more positively responded to than Ospreay, even though everybody recognizes that Ospreay is like a top 3 wrestler on the planet. They've been hot potatoing this championship a little bit. Cobb and O'Khan won it not that long ago. And then like a few weeks or maybe a month in, they had them lose it in a stupid 3-way to Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens, while the other team got pinned. and then they just held it for a month, and now Cobb and O'Khan won it back, and that's been less than a month. This is that was on the 12th. I'm not ready for those to change hands again, and I don't think they do a lot of shows, so everybody's kind of Teflon, but if all their championship reigns are going to be less than a month long, it just really demeans the championships to me. This is one where I feel like both they and FTR kind of have to win, but somebody can't. Maybe they ultimately swerve us with Roppongi Vice, but I think Roppongi Vice is only there because they bridged the gap, because they got Roppongi Vice became big in New Japan, but they're now known by AEW. That's why you can't leave these guys off the show. And Rocky Romero behind the scenes did a lot of brokering of the conversations between Tony Khan and Gato. Rocky Romero was basically their conduit. So this is definitely a thank you to him, putting him on the show.
Good point.
I'll go with Cobb and O'Khan, but I wonder how much of that is because of my familiarity. Like, I watch them wrestle like 4 times a week. So there you go.
I'm almost leaning towards FTR just because they're going to put the belt on FTR, have like FTR then are the IWGP tag team champions, and they can brag about that. And then they'll drop them sometime during the G1, and they'll drop the belt sometime on one of those shows during the G1, and then come back and win the AEW tag team titles or something like that. Like, I could see them doing something like that 100%. I almost think they want to have FTR holding all 4 fucking championships at one point. I don't know that it's going to happen by All Out. I have a weird feeling it's going to be FTR and the Bucks at All Out, and then they're going to have all fucking 4 belts with the AAA and Ring of Honor and IWGP and AEW. That's where I'm thinking this is going. So I have FTR winning this thing, Sal.
Yeah, I foresee that happening too. And hell, let's just throw Impact back in the mix too.
Why not? Aren't the Good Brothers the champions? So why not? Dad?
I don't think making FTR belt heavy is going to work. I think they're over ROH and AAA, and also I think it'd be more better for them as far as business is to take the belts off the Young Bucks.
I agree.
With that being said, I've been impressed with Jeff Cobb since I saw him in New Japan, and then when he came over to Ring of Honor. I'm impressed with his style. I'm impressed with how he handles things and who he teams with, and him and Great O'Khan. Yeah, I mean, they're just like taking over and stomping mud holes and other guys, and command and take. And this is what not only New Japan needs, but what Jeff Cobb and Great O'Khan need is that rocket to catapult them to another level.
I just had a random thought. I just nothing to do with what you just said, but it had a random thought because you said stop not holding maybe Dick and JR. Are we getting a New Japan or AEW team, or is this going to be the AEW team? New Japan does their version of a call. Kelly, have you heard anything about that?
Their version of it. Sorry.
Are we getting a mixed AEW New Japan team for the announced team for the show? Do we have any clue?
I would expect both of them to have their own person. Like, normally I would say Rocky will be on the AEW call because he's there.
Kevin Kelly.
But they could use Kevin Kelly, and I think they probably will.
Because Kevin did say during Dominion that he's going to be in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
He was hinting at it, but he never said he's going to be at Forbidden Door. He was hinting
and they were talking.
Chicago.
Chris Charlton was joking that he would be there too, so I think that he'll be there on one and Chris Charlton is bilingual, so he could do either one. He could step in with the Japanese announcers, or he could do the English announcing, which is what he usually does.
He also does the translation. Does the translation?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, he's very valuable to do the translation. So if anybody's going to get mic time, like Tana or O'Khan, which they probably both will, because they usually both do, that would actually be a great reason to have Charlton on the call.
Yeah, I did thought about that as we were talking because that made me think of JR and that made me think of commentary. That's how I got there. That's how I got there. Sorry, I just thought about that. All right, let's move on. We have the only match on here that's all AEW. It is the AEW Women's Championship World Championship. It is Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm. I'm excited for this match. I'm looking forward to this match. And I know, but the main reason they have this on here is this time women's match because they could have hit it for All Out and nobody probably would have blinked. Sal?
This feels out of place. I kind of don't care, and I think it's obvious that Thunder Rosa is going to retain.
I can't even argue with you that because there's no reason to take the belt off her yet. There's really no reason at all, Dad.
Yeah, no, I see Thunder Rosa retaining. It's be a good match between her and Toni Storm. But my thing that I'm looking at is when Jade drops the belt, do we have Jade challenging Thunder Rosa for the title?
I'm shocked they didn't set up Jade, not setting up Jade versus Thunder Rosa title for title or something like that. I'm surprised they're not doing that. But I'm actually happy they're not. I'm happy they're not doing that because I think Jade deserves her own storylines, her own thing on the other side. Like I'm happy about that. Like I want to see her versus Athena. I'm looking forward to that match. Like I'm really looking forward to Jade versus Athena.
Right.
So, like I'm happy they're not doing that. Kelly, your thoughts on this match?
I genuinely think that the best way to get the TBS title off Jade is to have a championship match, have her go over, and then a tournament for the TBS.
That's a good
title.
point.
Like not have her lose it.
Like a very Oscar-like.
Yep, and I think that's the best way to go with her. Just don't even have her drop it. When she loses a championship, it's got to mean a lot, and it'll mean more if it's the big one. This is out of place, but it's the only way to get any women on the show because New Japan doesn't have women. Because in Japan, all of the companies are either all men or all women. The women sell out their own shows. Stardom does anyway. They sell out shows. The other ones, the smaller ones, typically don't. But yeah, Stardom is the counterpart of New Japan. And actually, they have the same parent company, Bushiroad. So actually, they kind of have a working thing that they could leverage, but they usually don't do anything together, other than having the women on. Have one match at the January 4th. Yeah, at Wrestle Kingdom every year. Yeah, I'm not excited for this because I've never ever in my life been excited for a Toni Storm match. She's not a very good wrestler and people expect her to be a star and I can't figure out why because she's not very good. She's just kind of there. She's never been very clearly defined as a character on the mic. Like I've been like in the cheering section to see her get better for so long and there's just nothing. I just don't really see anything there even after all this time. And I think that her walking out and going into AEW, which she considers greener pastures, obviously they have to do this to justify. I mean, a lot of these people who jump are going to get an initial big burst because then otherwise, why do people jump? Like Sasha's not going to want to jump if she sees Toni Storm go over there and immediately get buried. So I hope Thunder Rosa retains here. I am concerned that again, they are doing nothing with their women's champion, which has been basically what they've done with their women's champion other than when Britt was champion. And Rosa is good enough to warrant it. On the other hand, Rosa has been reportedly sandbagging wrestlers that she doesn't like, and that might be carrying over into her booking. If I'm picking,
I forgot about that news. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, if I'm picking someone to win, yeah, what a good time for that news to come out because it's been buried under the deluge of other crazy.
As we learned earlier on the show.
Yeah, right. I'll predict Rosa, but I'm less sure about it than I was before they really started kind of making Rosa just sort of there on TV.
All right. Let's move on. IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship match. Maybe he has his belt. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know at this point. But I'm more excited for this match just because of the random and weirdness of it. There's no reason for it. It's not a dream match for me. It's not like that, but I'm more looking forward to this match than a lot of people really are. It is Will Ospreay defending against Orange Cassidy. I'm more excited because I know at Dynamite tonight, CJ's getting happy because he gets to see both Will Ospreay and Orange Cassidy, and he likes both of them. So I can't really complain. I can't complain. There's no reason to take the belt of Ospreay. The question is, does he even have his title belt, or Juice Robinson still have it? Kelly?
Even if he can get it logistically, it's more interesting if he doesn't have it, because with Ospreay right now, they're doing a story where he keeps on getting screwed over and over by officials, by wrestlers, by everyone, because it's fun to watch him melt down. Like it's literally just because he melts down better than a lot of other guys do. So I suspect he will not have it unless they don't want to have to go through the trouble of explaining that to the live crowd somehow and having them be like, well, where's the championship? That would be the only reason that they don't do it. But I think that they will hold off until they can do a one-on-one between Ospreay and Juice once Juice comes back, which I guess is going to be soon, because Juice he's been booked in the G1, which is days away. So there you go. Or more than days away, but it's not far away.
I just put the entire schedule on my calendar today, and it starts on July 16th. So actually, we'll be talking about it at our panel. We can actually probably do I'll say right now, the G1 prediction. I'll tell them who's my prediction for G1 at our panel on July 9th. Continue.
I think, Ospreay wins this match, of course.
Obviously, yeah.
But I think that this could end up being the most fun match on the card, because Cassidy, because it's so much fun to see Ospreay get riled up, Orange is the perfect opponent for him, because he riles people up.
Yes, definitely.
So anybody who's wringing their hands over Ospreay not getting a dream match, this is going to be so much more memorable than just another banger. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, it's definitely something we didn't expect to have. I'm excited. You're right, Ospreay's winning, but I'm looking forward to this match, Sal.
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing, Dad?
I think this is a dream match for Cassidy.
Yes, definitely.
and his abilities, because when I first was introduced to Will Ospreay, he had the same type of build as Zack Sabre Jr. And then when he put on some poundage working out in the weights, he's still able to do that stuff, and even more so now that he's added some meat and some poundage to him. So I mean, kudos to what he was able to accomplish. So this is going to be a great match, and yeah, Ospreay's gonna be the winner.
Yeah, there's no doubt in the winner, but I am looking forward to this match. All right, so apparently in the press release for the show, they announced that Jay White is defending the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Doesn't have an opponent. I have no idea what's going on here. Kelly, you ever heard anything of what's going on with this match? Because I've heard nothing.
I don't. They've been having Jay. If they really, really, really want to blow minds, then it's got to be Okada. Okada's who he just beat. And if they don't want to do an AEW New Japan match, if they want to just have it be an all New Japan match for the championship, it has to be Okada, because that is something that fans, as you guys can attest, are waiting to hear, is the announcement of Okada being there. It's impossible to glean anything from New Japan's schedule, because they didn't schedule any shows in the 5 days before or after Forbidden Door. There's nothing. That's essentially a break. So we don't know who's there and who's not. That's been a long form storytelling feud that they've done. I don't think this is just going to be a hot shot. I think Jay will beat whoever it is, probably. But if they want to do a big match, it could be Okada. I'm not going to predict a winner because I don't know. I think it's Jay going over anybody, unless it's Okada, in which case I still think he's going over, but it's only by a slight margin.
I was just thinking, are they going to do like a USFJ open challenge?
Well, they've done a lot of that, but I think that they'd probably want, well, it depends on how much they can sell this show otherwise. If they think they can, if they think they can, because the secret will be fun if they hold a secret, but it depends. They probably have enough to sell the show already. If they do a US of J, then that probably is the best way to have it be Okada. Where Jay's like, I didn't even know you were in the States.
Yeah, it's a good point. I will say though, as again, I've said this 1,000 times, and now that it's the day of the show, if Okada's music hits tonight on Dynamite, I'm gonna lose my fucking shit. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna go nuts. I've already warned Mandy. I'm saying it again on the air. I've been saying it for 2 months. I will lose my shit. Because I'm not expecting him to be there, so I will completely lose it. So let's get to the last match. Okay, good.
Here's a theory. What if it is Bryan Danielson against Jay White?
That's intriguing. But then again, if they're gonna have Danielson on, you do Danielson Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, it
Isn't he
is
hurt?
intriguing, but I cannot wait for
We'll find out. We'll find out on Dynamite.
Zach is not hurt, but Danielson might be.
Yeah, we'll find out on Dynamite. Actually, that's another thing that's going to come out of Dynamite. We'll find out what's going on with Danielson. So that's actually, they're advertising that for Dynamite, saying that Danielson's going to talk about his status for Forbidden Door and Blood and Guts. So we'll find out. So by the time people hear this, you'll know the answer. But as recording this, we do not know the answer. So let's get to the main event of the show. It is the interim AEW World Heavyweight Championship match. For those who have been hidden under a rock, or just been, as you learned to be in the show, forgot a lot happened. CM Punk announced he's injured. It sounds like he had a foot injury. He required surgery. And Tony Khan wouldn't let him drop the belt. So we have an interim championship instead. We had a weird battle royal. And the battle royal winner, Kyle O'Reilly, ended up pinning Moxley. Moxley won that match. Tanahashi won a match at Dominion. And that's over here is Jon Moxley versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, a match that is 3 years in the making. I'm excited for that. I really am looking forward to this match. I laughed at Tony Khan when he said, I told New Japan to book this match because I really wanted to do it. So here we are, which makes no sense to me because originally this is Punk versus Tanahashi, but whatever. Tony can say whatever he wants. But here we are. Kelly, Mox Tanahashi, interim champion.
Yeah, it'll be a blast. It is probably as much of a foregone conclusion as Osprey Orange. There is no reason for them to have an interim champion and then put the championship on a guy who's going to be gone for a month and a half doing the G1 Climax. It wouldn't make sense. So, because Tanahashi is in the G1 Climax, there is no chance that they're going to have their championship off TV when the only reason they have an interim champion is to make sure they have a champion on TV. But these two guys will match up really well. And Tana, in his matches, even when I know he has to lose for the storyline to move forward, is so good that I start doubting my own booking mind late in the match when he's getting all his biggest offense in. I'm like, why they could do Tana, even though the booker part of my head is nagging at me like, dude, you know why they're not? But he's just really good at this. Yeah, they did another match to make Tana earn his way into a match that he was already going to be in. He beat Hiroki Goto, another one of my favorites, but he's entering the give back portion of his career, doing a lot of jobs right now. His tag team is going well, but as a single, he's not winning as much as he used to. So I'm sure that this will be a banger. I hope that Moxley doesn't feel the need to blade yet again. I mean, it's just, if you do it all the time, it's not worth anything. It's just not worth anything at all. And I hope this is a little more straightforward. And Tanahashi, I'll just say, is one of the awesomest stories of the last few years because his knees are destroyed. They're basically held together with duct tape at this point. They're a total disaster. And everybody's like, he's done. He's not going to be a guy who goes into the give back portion of his career, even though he wants to, because his legs aren't going to let him. So at age 40, he basically reinvents the way he's wrestling, and he's having 5-star matches that are completely different from the 5-star matches he was having 5 years ago. It's just incredible what he's able to do. It's like a Chris Jericho style reconfiguring of what kind of wrestling match you can have and still stay relevant to the business. I mean, they did different changes, but they both found a way to stay relevant because they are master showmen. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be very good, and it will be a foregone conclusion.
I will say, I'll throw it to Dad last because I know tonight at Dynamite, Tanahashi's wrestling, and I know how much of a fan Dad is, and I can't wait to see his reaction when Go Ace hits. And you see that in person for the first time. So I can't wait to see that reaction tonight. Sal, your thoughts on Mox Tanahashi?
I'm completely torn. If I have to pick somebody, I guess just for the sake of what Kelly said, the whole purpose of doing the interim championship is to make sure that there's a champion on TV, then I'm going to go with Mox.
What's funny is, Sal, we've had this discussion offline because we had this exact same conversation a couple weeks ago offline. And I said exactly what Kelly said. Exactly what Kelly said. There is no way they're going to put the belt on Tanahashi when it's in the G1. Because it's the G1 they got announced. As we were talking about during Dominion, I texted you that Tanahashi's officially in the G1. But it would not shock me whatsoever if Tony's like, well, Punk might be back in time for All Out. We're doing it in Chicago. And Tanahashi can go to the G1 with the championship. And like to have the belt, then be AEW champion in the G1. Like it wouldn't shock me if Tony does that. I don't think he will, but it would not shock me. Dad.
Here's the thing: which John Moxley are we getting for this match? Are we getting the John Moxley with the the club, or are we getting the Death Rider John Moxley?
But actually, that's a good question. Well, technically, he's been. That's a good question. I didn't think of that. I didn't think about that. You're right, because there is a difference between New Japan Death Rider and Blackpool Combat Club. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
Right.
What do you think? That's a good question. I didn't even think of that.
So my thing is, if you get the Death Rider, yeah, you're gonna get the blood.
But the
And
Blackpool
yeah, he's
Combat Club also though. But that's
you
a
know,
good question.
and he's gonna give Tana a run for his money, and it's gonna be close. But I would see Moxley coming out ahead on this one if he has a Death Rider persona in this match.
Either way, but Kel, that's a good point because in New Japan he's the Death Rider. Death Rider. So I had to get it right. But in America he's Blackpool Combat Club, John Moxley, which is kind of the same person, but it's not. So Kelly, which one do you think we're gonna see?
I mean, this is like Mick Foley getting the biggest pop of his life by taking off a shirt and showing another one. You know what I mean? It's
No, it's the truth.
God,
It's the truth. It's the truth.
he was Mankind couldn't beat Triple H, so here's Wanted
Jack.
Dead or Alive. Cactus Jack. So he's
Bang!
yeah, he joked about that. I went to his stand-up show with
But
Wade
wait.
Keller, and he joked about how
It's the same thing.
yeah, he said the biggest pop of his life was taking off a shirt, which is something he's never gotten a pop for in his whole life otherwise.
Well,
That's what he
Kelly,
said.
if we're talking about pops for closing, remember when Tanahashi, when Okada came out for the first time back with the shorts on again, and he took off the pants, and everyone went nuts for his thigh. So remember that did happen.
Oh, yeah.
One of the craziest moments I've ever seen.
And Tana already, Okada already has the coolest gear in wrestling. Oh my gosh, it's so awesome, especially when you know what it is. His glow in the dark white one that has the entire history of New Japan written on it in Japanese kanji. Oh, it's so rad. Yeah, that's my favorite piece of gear, I think, in wrestling ever. And until then, it was always Greg Valentine's heart-covered robe. I loved that heart-colored robe. Yeah, I don't know, I guess he could do a thing where he's Blackpool Combat Club is what he is, and then he taps into Death Rider later in the match. And maybe not everybody in the crowd gets that, but Kevin Kelly can tell that story. He can
Exactly.
say this is the
Yep.
Death Rider. And that's how he ends up overcoming Tanahashi.
That's a good point. Kevin Kelly, that's what Kevin Kelly's there for, to explain that whole story. One other thing I just had a thought. Do you expect them to do like the New Japan shows with the time codes? Like they did at the G1 when they did Ring of Honor New Japan, but they had the time codes going off and it confused half the audience that they were doing New Japan time codes. Do you expect that for this show?
Oh, as in 20 counts?
Yeah, no, that's why you count like 5 minutes into the match, 10 minutes into the match, like those time codes they do.
I don't know. I mean, I guess that could be a compromise along with, I would guess that the count out number will be 10 because it's on American soil. Although the IWG championship match, maybe they announce it's a count of 20 in this match for that reason. I think it's better to keep it simple, but they have run into situations before where somebody who was supposed to go over ended up taking a loss because they were in the States and they were just kind of goofing off because it was the count of 10 and they didn't realize 10 was the count out number. I don't remember what wrestler this was. This is before I jumped on to Japanese pro wrestling, but I know that that's happened at least once. So it's going to have to be real clear.
It sounds like a ridiculous question to ask for those who don't want to do Japan, but it's a valid question that I just came to mind as we're talking. It's a valid question.
Maybe they go with 20 because there's no way to run into that. Like if the worst that can happen is an American wrestler accidentally just runs in at 9 because they think it's almost over.
Out of habit.
So,
out of habit. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, right. I'd be interested there. The time codes, I don't know. I feel like I don't mind them, but I mean, we've all got phones in our pockets if we want to time the matches.
I'm just saying,
I know. I know it's tradition, but I could, if it went away, it would never bother me.
Okay, that was more the question I asked. I know you do Japan tradition, so I just threw it out there as a question.
One other question off this topic, but staying with New Japan.
Go for it.
Is Kushida is back with New Japan.
Yeah, that happened this week.
Here's the thing. When Bryan Danielson is doing his shtick, do you see Kushida coming out and challenging Bryan Danielson?
How did I forget about Kushida? Like, so much happened this week. How did I forget to write that down?
Pardon me while I blow your fucking mind. I didn't know Kushida went back. I knew that he was. I knew he was going to. Kushida is like a top 3 or 4 wrestler for me in the world. I adore him, and I somehow didn't catch it. I knew it would happen. I was really bummed that the cutoff was too close to get him into the Best of the Super Juniors. I really wanted to see his name on the list for Best of the Super Juniors.
We may have just spoiled then the show on the 21st, the Corrigan show for you. We might have just spoiled that for you.
Right.
I apologize. I thought you knew, so that's why my dad brought it up.
There's no reason I wouldn't know. I follow him on Twitter. I follow New Japan. I'm extremely up on. There are like 2 house show level shows that I haven't seen yet that were in the last handful of days, but they have literally nothing consequential on them. So I will have to watch them, but I assume they probably mentioned it on commentary during those shows.
But yeah, there's a picture. There's a picture because Dad sent me the link yesterday, and it happened at the Corrigan show on the 21st. And then New Japan put a picture up on their Instagram page. There's a picture on their Instagram page. Why you posted on the Blick of Sound Instagram page last night?
Also follow. What the hell?
Here's the thing from what I heard too, is that tonight an ex-WWE star
at our show
will be coming out
our show
to whatever. So, I mean, it's too coincidental, but I'm hoping that's going to be the case.
At our show, I haven't heard that at all. I have not heard that whatsoever. So, Kelly, but I just sent it to you of the Smokey Milk game Instagram page. You can see the pictures from New Japan. I just sent it to you. All right. Well, I think that is it. That is our show. That is Forbidden Door. Like I said, let's wrap up and I'll explain what's going on here. Let's do this. Dad, what are we closing the show with? Because anytime I ask you what song, you give me something old school. And we opened up with the 80s, so we're going to be
this is Steve Miller Band with Jet Airliner, and the reason I picked that is Steve Miller will be performing this weekend at Summerfest. He's a Milwaukee native. He's been rocking since the 70s. He's still going strong. And if you listen to his music, it's still relevant today.
I'm going to be tied in with Summerfest. That is starting this weekend. I completely forgot about it. You can tell I don't care if Summerfest started. I completely forgot it was happening this week because we're so busy with other things. I completely forgot. I know, like, Mandy's going to Summerfest in a few weeks to the Backstreet Boys, but I completely forgot it was starting this weekend. I completely forgot. Sal, let's get out of here. Go.
For more information on our show, including where you can hear our show, go to our website, theblakeandsalshow.com, our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages, and pretty please comment or leave a rating and review, even to tell me that I suck, and I will read it on the show.
Okay, Sal, no problem. For your part of the National Podcast Association, go to podcastassociations.com. Dad, say your thing.
Hey, as always, it's been our pleasure. And please, if you have a local independent wrestling organization where you live in, please patronize these people. These are the young men and women coming up in the world of professional wrestling sports entertainment. You'll be amazed on the moves they can do in the ring, out of the ring, and their persona and their mic skills. So please patronize these organizations, but do it safely. And hey, let's be nice to one another, all right?
Kelly, now that I've blown your mind, why don't you plug it and go?
That's at Spooky Milk or at spookymilk.games. And I'm off to watch Kushida's return and also send an email so you can hear it here first, folks. Sal sucks.
All right, so let's quickly plug what's going on the next couple of weeks. First of all, tomorrow, on Saturday, look for me and Dad's review AEW Dynamite and Rampage. We're going to put it up on Saturday just so there's no spoilers out there for Rampage on our end. I know they'll be out there, but I want to be nice. Also, the final part of the 3-part like ridiculous mega series of Kyle, Matt, and Andy's coverage of Windy City PonyCon going up on Saturday as well. Next week, Rich Fan will be here, and we will look back at him. I know he's in attendance for the show, so we can talk to him about that. And also, we will be previewing Money in the Bank next week, which is crazy how that's right around the corner. That being said, thank you, Kelly, for coming on as always. This was fun.
I always love it. And it's been only 3 weeks. Probably won't be that short again, but when you need me, I'm around.
Sounds good. And thank you to Mandy for coming on the show earlier. I know she had to run off because she wanted to get some stuff done before going to the show tonight. And I just want to throw out there a shout out to John, who was supposed to be here today, but I know we had a work conflict. So I just want to throw that out to him. I'll be doing a podcast with him tomorrow. So it's not like I won't talk to him, but whatever. I'm going on his side of the world tomorrow. All right. That being said, I'm Blake.
So
I'm Mark.
And you were listening to the Blake and Sal Show with Mark. Have a good day, everybody.
Yeah, you better, or I'll kick your ass.
see ya.
Thank you so very much. Goodbye. Mwah, and good night.